Fellow members, most welcome guests. Hands up here who can drive. Right, think back to when you were doing your driving lessons. At the end of every lesson, you sat there with your instructor and they told you all the things you've done well and all the things you needed to improve on. That's the point in an evaluation. The point is to tell you things you're strong at, that you can build on and capitalise, and also to tell you the areas you're not quite so strong on, that you need to improve on. Now, we've probably all had those evaluations where the person has focused on absolute negatives and we've ended up feeling really demotivated and perhaps a little crushed. And I imagine you've also had these evaluations where you've left feeling really buoyed up because the person focused on the positives. So my job tonight is to evaluate Jo, and with a blend of the positives and the negatives. Now Jo is a bit of a superstar, and she is on the advanced manual. So when you've done the 10 speeches in the competent communication manual, you can move on to a choice of these ones. Now Jo is working out of the storytelling manual, and it's going to be speech number 4. It's called The Touching Story. And no, Lee, before you say anything, no. I know where your mind's going. I don't think we're going there, although she's dressed like a madam tonight. It's not going. So this is going to be slightly longer than normal. This is an 8-minute speech because it's one of the advanced speeches. Now Jo has asked me to look out for whether I feel moved by the particular emotion. Because the point of this speech, the objectives are to become skilled in arousing emotions while telling a story. Although this isn't actually a story, this is a story that Jo's written herself. To become skilled in arousing emotions while telling a story and to understand the techniques available to arouse emotion. So tonight with speech number 4 from the storytelling manual, it's Jo with A Winter's Kiss.
Now I want you to forget the normal rules of speech, body language and things for tonight. For this speech, I'd like you to close your eyes. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then obviously don't. William knelt on his bed. He was watching. He was watching for a car. He knew today would bring change. Outside, he could see snowflakes slowly spinning, lazily, landing softly on the bed of white expanse that was his garden. Now William has got thick red hair. You know that hair that your mother wets her fingers and tries to stick down, but it just won't flatten. He has freckles, many freckles. He's 7. He's wearing new clothes, smart clothes. As he's looking at the snowflakes, he remembers Mr. Taylor, his favourite teacher at school, telling them that no 2 snowflakes are ever the same. And in fact, he's run around trying to catch them, sticking his tongue out, waving his fingers. But he always thinks that they look the same. He put his hand down to scratch Charlie between his ears. Charlie is his Jack Russell. Charlie follows him everywhere with his dark brown eyes looking up at him, always looking for those treats. He's a bit of a mischievous character. He likes to run and pinch William's shoes and hide them in the garden. And on a night, he wiggles and squirms under the duvet and snuggles as tightly as he can into William's side. Charlie wasn't there. As his heart clenched with remembrance, William remembered the last day he was fully happy. 10 days ago. 10 days ago, when William, Charlie and his brother George had gone for a walk in the local park with their dad. Now George's brother is 5, with blonde curly hair and those big wide blue eyes that, even though he's only 5, already knows how to go when he wants, just looking up at people. As they enter the park, his dad sees an old work colleague and stops. But they're talking about boring things like marketing and statistics, whatever that word is that William just can't say because he's only 7. And George and Charlie run ahead because George's favourite place in that park is the pond, where he loves to feed the ducks, the coots and the moorhens. William follows. At the edge of the pond, George stops and squeals with delight and excitement. The pond is frozen. Charlie thinks this is really exciting and he jumps down onto the pond and he starts chasing and dancing with the leaves. Not to be outdone, George also jumps onto the pond and the two of them scatter themselves across the pond. William, being 7, remembers what Mr. Taylor has told him, how dangerous it is to go onto a pond. It might look frozen, but is it? He starts calling to them, "George, Charlie, come back." But George and Charlie just laugh and carry on. William starts calling for his dad, and his dad looks up and starts running. It's like in slow motion. There's a crack. Another crack. And William sees his brother and Charlie disappear into the dark, cold water, leaving only ripples. William screams. His dad runs and jumps into the water, followed by a stranger. It seems like forever, but it is only a moment. A moment that feels like time is stretched like an old balloon. When the stranger comes out of the pond holding a limp, still figure, small. He looks towards William and gives a shake of his head. And William knows. He knows that Charlie, his Charlie, has left him. Charlie is gone. He looks and he sees his dad come to the surface, again holding a limp, still figure, which he hands over to the stranger to take to the edge of the pond. And then both men are leaning over, and it looks like they're giving George a kiss, a cold winter's kiss. At that moment, William catches sight of movement out of the window, and he watches the car, the dark car, come slowly down the road. It comes to a halt outside his door, and he knows that he has to go downstairs. But he can't bring himself to leave that window. As he looks, the door opens. He sees inside. He sees his brother George, looking pale but happy to be home. As William turns around to run downstairs to greet him, he sees out of the corner of his eye Charlie. Charlie, his Charlie with the dark eyes, sat staring at him. And as he sees William look at him, he nods his head and gives a little shake of his tail before turning and disappearing into the bushes. And William feels blessed. Blessed because he knows Charlie has come to say goodbye. Thank you.